Hey, Texas Jeep Dad coming at you. Today I thought I'd talk to you about skids. So skid plates, different protectors to keep your Gladiator safe when you're off-road. And I'm not talking about full skid systems for your trans, oil pan, gas tank, that kind of stuff. So the things I'm going to show you today are things that don't come protected from the factory that you might overlook when you're going wheeling. Let's get to it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to suggest is going to be a differential cover. At a very minimum, get some kind of a cast or a steel cover to replace the one that's on there from the factory. You can see on my vehicle, I've already hit it a few times. That is the lowest point on my vehicle right there pretty much. So you want to make sure you're protecting your differential. If you bust this, bust anything in there, your day on the trail is over. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the other low-hanging piece. Right here, this is your lower control arm, where it mounts to the axle. And you can see here, I've got a skid on mine. So lower control arm skid, definitely worth every penny. And while I'm at it, I would recommend, if your steering stabilizer is below your tie rod, I would recommend moving that thing from lower to higher so that you don't have anything hanging down that's going to get hung up if you wheel. Again, this is stuff if you're wheeling you might think about. So move that steering stabilizer. This next skid, if I could only get one aftermarket skid for my Jeep Gladiator, this is the one it would be. This one is so overlooked. The lower control arm mount body side, the breakover angles on these things are so long. This is what you're going to hit most often. You can have all the underbelly skids you want, but if you're not protecting this joint right here, forget about it. You're going to bend that up. How many people have to re-bend it, and your control arms aren't moving like they should? Right here, Rusty's, highly recommend. And this one bolts on. It's super cool. Zero issues with this one. Again, if I could only buy one aftermarket skid for my Jeep, that's it right there. And like I said, these are skids that don't come on your Jeep that you probably should think about if you're going to wheel it. Everybody knows the breakover angle on these Gladiators is super long, but the protection that they give you from the factory is not bad. Is it perfect? No. But instead of spending $1,200, $1,500, $25, $35 on some crazy plastic and aluminum systems, these are things that can get you out there on the trail and then get you back home without too much damage. Let's move on to the next one. Honestly, I wasn't even going to get this skid. I didn't really like the step look, and I thought, well, does it really work? Man, after one trip to Hidden Fall or Hot Springs, Arkansas, I slid down a embankment, knocked it here, smashed it here. The other side, I dropped off an embankment. I hit it so hard the end cap popped off. So at a very minimum, I've seen some guys drop off some stuff and smash the bed seal. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but if you're not running your spare tire underneath, or even if you are and you drop off a ledge, you might consider the bed seal protector. It's a rocker, Bed Sill Guard, rocker skid, I forget, something like that. I'll leave information on all these products that I purchased. But at a minimum, I'd consider that, definitely. All right, let's move on. I definitely suggest some kind of rock rail, and not the one that comes on it from the factory. If you've got nothing, the factory one is cool, but you need something that's going to protect you. This particular one, I don't know why, but I keep beating on it on this side. So if I had the factory one, I probably would have hit the body by now. But I pretty much scrape all along here. I've smashed all along. Now, unlike mine mounts to the pinch seam weld and to the body holes for the original. I would get one that welds actually to the frame here. So they've got some, MotoBilt has one I'm looking at, and they weld here. So all that energy transfer is going to go here instead of into the pinch seam. Again, something is better than nothing. So get some kind of a skid here, a rock rail, and that's going to help you. At the same time, while I'm here, you don't really need this. This is optional. This right here is more body armor, but I've seen people take a hit out there. Mine was starting to get scratched a little bit. So that was something that I added here. And I like it. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to talk about here is a skid for the rear diff. Do you need a rear diff skid? Probably not, but it's something to consider, something that doesn't necessarily come on the Jeep or with any kind of kits that you're going to buy. So this is Metalcloak, of course, but definitely consider a rear diff skid. And if you don't get a rear diff skid at a very minimum, then make sure you get a rear diff cover that's beefy. So if you're not going to get a skid for the rear diff, then at least get a cover. Again, cast, steel, something that's going to take a beating just in case. You may never hit it, but the one time you do hit it, you want to make sure you got protection on there. So this right here is MotoBilt. Highly recommend all the MotoBilt products. And because I'm all about passing on the good info here, don't forget to get your rear Swawbar end link reinforcements from Metalcloak. This thing right here is a crappy little, there's not enough in there to hold the flex that you're going to do out on the trail. So these things notoriously bend and break. So do yourself a favor and get the Metalcloak reinforcement kit. So the front lower control arm skids, those are MotoBilt weld on. The rear control arm was Rusty's, and that's a bolt on. This is an N-Fab rock rail, it's bolt on. And this is a MotoBilt rocker armor, and it was all drill in and nut certed. And this right here is strictly bolt on with the trimming of the frame. Bolt on, zero issues. Diff covers, direct swap. All right, just a quick video on some of the things that I added to my Jeep that didn't come with it from the factory that help protect it when I'm out wheeling on the trail. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about the video. I always appreciate you guys taking your time out to watch my videos. Texas Jeep Dad out. You guys have a great day.